Cinematic short film. Let's have a look. For my project, I'll be doing a cinematography piece revolving around a lazy person. The reason I'm doing this is because of university. I'm off to Cardiff to study film, which I've got an unconditional offer for. I want to do a piece that just focuses on the cinematography side of film. This is on side of a film. It is something I really has a
John's trying to read the dyslexia. I do apologize.
passion for, and I want to add as much as I can. So when I do go, I want the lecturers to know I am able to accomplish this kind of work. Okay, cool. So there are a few things. Let's just have a good look. Review and summarize your previous work. Okay. So just kind of come back into here and kind of say, so on previous stuff, I've done these sprints on kind of symmetry, for example. I'm assuming you're not using symmetry in this.
Like a little bit, but not like it's not going to be heavy amounts.
Just relate back to previous work and how that how that's gotten you ready for where you are now. The main concept of my piece is that the main aspect I'll be working on different camera work, such as shot types, techniques, compositions, and a few other stuff, since it will be the main focus of the overall film. Another area I'll be working on is colour theory, since we have been taught how to use it to its full effect. I feel very comfortable using it. So with that, I want to use it to help affect the vibe of the piece, so I want to use it to the best advantage I can. Okay. That's fine where we're at. This section provides you an opportunity to clearly explain the concept and the aims. What I would do is bullet point your aims. So you say I'll be working on stuff such as shot types, techniques, and composition. That's kind of not enough. So, for example, shot types such as the vertigo shot or this shot. Kind of, like in your sprint, you were saying, I want to work. You could have said, I want to work on composition, but you didn't. You said, I want to work on the composition rule, which is symmetry, because I love Wes Anderson, right? So do that here. I want to work on, be more specific and say why. And if you can link it to some sort of short film or director that's inspired you, all the better. Another area I'll be focusing on is colour theory. So we've been taught, and I feel comfortable. That's great, just give me more reason. Kind of, you feel comfortable, but you now understand, for example, it can be used to drive the narrative and kind of give more atmospheric and moody effects, kind of thing. Okay, so just go deeper there. And
Evaluation then.
The research and ideas, you need to tell me what the research and the ideas which will support your development. So kind of what things are you going to need to look into. So for example, I'll need to find more DaVinci color grading tutorials. I'll need to really test the cameras, and I'll need to look at, you've missed narrative. I think narrative will be quite important, because whereas you've done some technique stuff in the sprint, really nailing narrative will be really important. For the evaluation, this section provides an opportunity for you to explain how you will reflect and evaluate your work. I'm encouraging everyone, and it's only 50 words, I'm encouraging everyone to start each day, 10 minutes, reflective log, what I'm going to get done today or what I'm going to try and do. 10 minutes at the end of the day, how did that go? And all that kind of stuff. So basically, you need to tell us, how are you going to continually evaluate? You may do what I just suggested. You may do it each week. You may do it each week and then make a Gantt chart for the following week to try and make sure you stay on track. You may choose to you may say, look, I'm going to get peer feedback, lecturer feedback. I'm going to reflect on that. How are you going to basically reflect? Is it going to be video? Is it going to be audio? Is it going to be written? That kind of stuff. And then
I haven't really finished the action, because it's like, for me, it's very hard to like plan out exactly what I'm doing and like that right now. So I've broken it down so far, because like I've mentioned what I did in the first week. I mentioned Canada's the second week, because it's like much research this week. Then next week I want to do storyboarding and story planning, so I'm going to be planning to write a script. And then after that, depending on how much I got left on the fourth week, it's most likely going to be like equipment research and testing.
Okay.
I'm just going to see how it
this
goes.
can be flexible.
Exactly.
So don't worry about, I don't know what week 7 is going to look like. Put what it should look like in an ideal world. I'll sometimes do the first few weeks, because I'll know what I'm doing then. I'll sometimes put the deadline in and work backwards a bit, which can help some people. So carry on with that. What research are you thinking of doing?
So far I've done some research on like people have got inspiration off what I'm taking away from them. Then I've done I'm using like symmetry from like what I use my sprint and all that, and then I'll probably end up doing some more on like different forms of shot types I might want to use, compositions, and probably some more colour theory research on like certain ones, unless there's anything you may recommend me.
Possibly narrative,
Narratives
looking at narrative structures. Which one you think is going to be best? Is it going to be the 3-act narrative structure, which is Todorov? No, Todorov is the 5-stage equilibrium theory. So figuring out which one, let's say it was, for example, the 3-act story structure, which kind of looks like this. So you've got Act 1, you're setting everything up, then you've got your confrontation and rise in action, and then you've got your resolution where it comes back to normal. Similar to Todorov. If you thought, right, this one's going to work, what I would then get you to do is say, well, why don't you use this to map yours out? So set up, introduce into the lazy character, rise in action is this happens, then he's late for his appointment or whatever because he's been lazy, and how does he, get back to normal? He gets a taxi. Obviously, that's a dull narrative, but using this to plan out your narrative is going to be quite important, I think. And
probably some character types research,
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if let's say you've got 4 characters, you could then use something like this to kind of mark them. Right, here's my stereo. I don't like that one. Props. Let's just go prop. So you've got the villain, the helper, the princess, or the prize. You may think, right, I've got a villain, I've got a helper because they're like the sidekick. I've got the donor because somebody's going to encourage somebody to kind of go ahead and not be lazy. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So kind of that, I think, will be quite important. I'm assuming you're going to be analysing 1 or 2 pieces?
Yeah, probably.
Which pieces?
I don't know yet. I might try King of Staten Island. I watched it on the plane when we were back from Canada. It was like King of Staten Island, because the character is like very lazy. He hasn't really got much like charisma in his life, mainly because his dad like died in a fire not too long ago. But like, it has got some traits. Like his mum's obviously the donor because she's trying to encourage. Well, his mum and his sister because they're like trying to encourage him to like go out. The villains pretty much represent this guy that his mum's seen, but later becomes like a sort of a hero, like a the villain sort of, or his friends technically, because his friends get caught in like a weird like drug skeeting thing in a drugstore, stuff like that.
Okay, I think go and make the adjustments initially to this document, brush it up, and then kind of move on to that research, but definitely looking at narrative and how to tell a story.
Thanks.